When it comes to working in your workspace, space is of the essence, and trying to keep it nice and tidy can sometimes be very difficult depending on your craft. I happen to have that problem, and I'll bet some of you do too. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the Workbench system by Fordham. This is a great tool for you to be able to organize a lot of other tools and accessories, and yet keep them easily within arm's length. Let's take a look now. So when it comes time to organizing where everything goes, you need to kind of decide where things are going to go. I find for me, this particular system works well at the front of the bench. However, some people really like it at the back of the bench. So once you get all of your different components, play around with them a little bit before everything is mounted securely, and then you'll find the right fit for you. First and foremost, I need to get my mounting plate mounted onto my bench top. This is going to be a very heavy system, so having a stable workbench and station is imperative. You want to make certain that whatever you're drilling into isn't wobbly, isn't weak, and you also want to make certain that you have a thick enough bench top in order to drill down into. So in this case, I have 3 screws that I'm going to work into the bench top. Now that that's done, we need to install our support rod. Now the support rod comes in 2 different lengths, 25 3/4 inch and 17 3/4 inch. If you are going to be hanging a flex shaft system on this, which I am, you're going to want to get the longer one with the flex shaft arm extension as well. To use this part, I'm going to loosen up this hex key that's in here, or the hex screw, let that slide down, and then I will tighten this up. Now comes the fun part of customizing this how you want. Let's take a look at a few of the accessories that you can put onto yours, and then you can pick and choose which works best for you. Now, as you can see, I have actually quite a few different items that I'm going to be inserting on mine. And again, the order that you put these in completely depends on you. So the first one that I'm going to start with is our medium tray. And this is going to be handy for me if I want to place a micromotor, or in my case, I actually put a lot of projects that I'm working on in this tray. For me, I like to store a lot of pieces that I'm working on the tray to keep it out of my way while I work on other things. The next thing I will use is a double handpiece rest. This is great because I will actually have a couple of flex shafts here, and notice that there is a cupped section and a flat section. So this is where your handpiece is going to rest, inside of that cup section. The next thing on my unit is going to be the Burr Arm Holder, and this is going to hold a lot of different burrs. Everything is a stainless steel construction, and we have multiple layers, as you can see here, so we have quite a bit of storage space. This will be followed by my tray arm. Now the tray arm also comes with some dividers with a sticky bottom, and you can divide this up however you want. Next on my workstation is going to be the magnetic arm. This is very, very powerful magnet. It is covered in felt. Keep in mind, because the magnet is so powerful, whatever you put on here will become magnetized. Finally, I'm going to have my peg arm. Now the peg arm is kind of nice because each of these pegs, and there are 5 on each side, can be removed, so you can pick and choose how you want yours configured. Now this is great for holding a number of items, including hand pieces, pliers, different polishing tools, anything like that. Next, before I place my flex shaft hanger, is going to be our LED light. This light is pretty awesome, and I'll show you a couple of features with that in just a moment. Finally, mine will be topped off with my flex shaft hanger. Now there are 2 hooks on here, and that will be what holds my flex shafts into place. Place these items on here is actually really simple. There is another hex screw up here, and you want to insert this enough so that it is flush. Be careful not to insert it too much, or it will actually fall down your tube. But we don't want it sticking out and impeding any of the items that we're about to put onto here. So the next thing I'm going to do is just slide my items on, and I'm going to position it wherever I want this. Now in this case, I happen to have a rail right here, and I need to clear that rail with this tray. So I'm going to just kind of hold this into place, use my hex key or a hex wrench here, and just tighten this into place. I will tighten up one of these. There's 2 different screws on each one of these. I'll tighten up the first one to kind of get things snug, and then I will tighten the second one, come back and re-tighten that first one, and make sure that I have a really good secure fitting here. Now you can also decide where to place this. We do have 180-degree rotation on each of these arms, so you can have it where it rotates out to the side here, or you could even install it where it starts off with the side here, and then you can rotate it out and around. You're just going to have to decide what works best for you. You've seen how easy it is to install this. I'm going to speed up the rest of this video to install the rest of my accessories. That I want to install are going to be the light and the flex shaft hanger. One thing I need to keep in mind with this light is that I need to make sure that I clear whatever my top option is up here, and I leave enough room also for that flex shaft hanger so that it is not in my way either. To operate this light, we need to plug it in. Once the light is plugged in, all you need to do is tilt it down and you have light. Finally, I need to install my flex shaft hanger. Now that we have everything in place, the final thing we need to do is to install our flex shaft hanger system. So I'm going to release this hex screw that's up here, loosen that up so that we can easily insert our bar into this. Tighten this up. Now you'll notice that had a lot of length to that. One of the things that's kind of nice about this is that the flex shafts are very heavy, the motors themselves. So you want to have a lot of torque and kind of support within this rod to hold those into place. Now the next thing we need to do to hold our flex shafts into place is to install the hangers themselves. Very easily slip those on. Now you'll also notice that the hooks on these are kind of long, and that is because the flex shafts happen to have a lot of torque and they can jump if you're not quite ready for that. And so if you don't have something that has quite enough space for that, you might run into some issues. Now another thing you should note, when you are storing your flex shafts and your hand pieces, you want to never just leave them hanging down, and you also want to be careful about allowing them to drop so as to not damage the insides or even the outsides of your hand pieces. And that is why we have installed our handpiece rest. In this case, they both just slide right in, and then you don't have to worry about any of the oil from the flex shaft going down into that handpiece and ruining it. Now that we have everything installed, it's time to move in and make any final adjustments on spacing that are necessary. There are more options available for you for this particular stand, and please note that these items will only work with this particular stand. It does not work with any other system that currently exists for the Fordham products. Be sure to check out Fordham.net for more options, and we'll see you guys next time.